We're here today really to send a message to the post office. The message to the post office today is you can't close this facility without damaging irreparably and unacceptably this community as well as Hartford and the state of Connecticut. There is no excuse for closing the Blue Hills post office. There's an old saying that a picture's worth 1,000 words. This picture is worth 1,000 words. Small businesses, a neighborhood, a community, a state that depends on this post office. And I'm urging members of this community, all citizens of Hartford and Connecticut, to come to the community meetings, to make their views known, to give this facility a voice and a face and say no to this post office closing. And I'm going to be fighting for this post office because it is an example of a facility that works. It's a success story. It produces revenue consistently more than $400,000 every year for the past years. It has an occupancy rate in its postal boxes of higher than 70%. And it has a community and a neighborhood behind it. Now, the post office spokeswoman is quoted as saying that modern information technology is all about apps and instant communication and electronics. I have news for the post office. Communications is about people, and people depend on this post office, and so does small business. So if the post office wants to be on the side of jobs and economic growth, keep this facility open. And I can pledge to you that we're going to be fighting as a congressional delegation, as a city, as a state. I'm going to be standing side by side with members of this community to make sure that the post office heeds our views. There's no question that it's a busy facility, a successful facility, and it ought to be maintained. And there should be an uproar and outpouring of community support for Blue Hills and other postal offices around the state that are really essential to our people, our small businesses, our seniors. It's not just about electronics and apps. It's about people, seniors, small businesses. They are the way that we will grow our economy and create more jobs. And again, I want to thank the mayor for being here today. Congressman Larson's office is represented here. We have a really strong team, along with community leaders, that are going to make sure that the post office does the right thing. And it's the right thing not only for Hartford and not only for the state of Connecticut, it's the right thing for the post office because they can make money from this facility if they manage it properly and see the right way to do it. Mayor?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Senator. And thank you for being here. I have already contacted each member of our congressional delegation and both of our senators objecting to the closure of this post office, which serves a very wide radius, which includes different communities. We have several of the community organizations that are here today. We have members of from the Christian Activities Council here. We have members from the Blue Hill Civic Association here. We have members of our Town Democratic Committee here. We have community residents that have this as a location that they walk to. We have many community churches and small businesses that depend on this location. This should be a no-brainer for the U.S. Postal Service. This location pays for itself, and at the same time services a community that depends on this location to stay connected. We are working hard, and just yesterday we went to a conference of helping our community to break that digital divide. But we're not there yet, and we won't be there for a while, and in the meantime, this location serves... Absolutely. Absolutely. She does not want the post office. Yeah, we do not want to close. Yes.
Come out and join us.
Absolutely. Abs- Thank you. That research. As you can see,
I love being back
as you can see, the community is outraged, and the community should be outraged. You know, in this era of federal cuts in so many areas, to have a post office which represents the ultimate means of communicating at low cost with family, friends, to pay your bills, to do so many things, to get a package. This is really important. And I was inside earlier today, and a lot of the folks that are visiting this post office are feeling the same outrage. And you know, it shouldn't even be happening for this location to even be threatened of being closed. So we're going to do everything possible, and I invite the community to continue to be vocal, to continue to be outraged, because this post office needs to stay open. So I thank the senator, and I thank our congressional delegation to make sure that this branch stays open. Thank you.
We're going to first take some questions if the press has any, and then I'm happy to talk to you. But let's make sure that if there are any questions that we answer them.
Senator, if this is the kind of post office that should close, what is the kind of post office that should close?
None in Connecticut. There are 15 that are proposed to be closed in Connecticut, and I can make a strong case for every one of them to remain open. But quintessentially, this one should not be closed. And the mere fact that it's on the list, I just want to reassure people, does not mean that it will be closed. We have an opportunity to make our voices heard. There's a comment period, there'll be community meetings and hearings, and I would suggest that we should scrutinize every one of those 15, because I think that there may be a few here or there that should be closed because they don't have sufficient revenue to justify it or community support, but certainly this isn't one of them.
Are those the variables in your mind, revenue and community support?
Revenue, community support, extent of usage, surrounding small business, job creation. There are a number of economic factors, but certainly on every one of those factors, this facility should remain open. Right.
West End.
Over 30,000 people are using this facility. We are not an online community. Our elderly desperately be able to walk here, get their money orders to pay their bills. We are supporting the post office. We need to support our communities.
Excellent point. That is another factor. Really good point. Which is another point. Exactly. The kind of mix of population, but also the proximity of other facilities. And this one is not surrounded by other facilities nearby.
Senator, there's no doubt that the post office is bleeding major money. How would you suggest they save money and make
Well,
local post office?
there may have to be some post office facilities shut, but not this one, not many of the others in the state of Connecticut that have been proposed for closing. There are management changes that can be accomplished, use of new technology for sorting and for transporting the mail, as well as other measures that have been proposed. Saving money simply cannot be accomplished by uprooting sources of revenue and abandonment. And this facility produces more than $400,000 every year consistently. It is supported by the community. It's essential to small business. The post office, in effect, is cutting off its nose to spite its face. If it closes good facilities, there are other ways to save money.
We have another question. There's a service center right over there. That's by a resident at Commercial Plaza over there. There's a postal service satellite office, which we see popping up more frequently. Does that take the place of this?
No.
Or how do we
Good question.
balance that?
The post office has proposed that there be village offices, in effect, which are either unmanned or are staffed by the employees of other supermarkets or stores. No substitute for this post office. This post office is a place that sells stamps, money orders, provides information. The satellite village post offices can't accomplish that purpose. Did you have something? Any other?
I just wanted to add that we have bookstores, but that doesn't make us close down our libraries. And I think that a similar argument can be made that it's a different service, it's a public service, and I think that for many populations, it's an economical way to get the service provided.
I have a question for you. What kind of revenues is this branch bringing every year? And what is the cost versus the expenses, the salaries, etc.? What is it justifiable based on the revenues versus the expenses that this is working?
Yes.
And why, if it is working, why would you take something that is working and create something that wasn't working, especially that I felt over there that was lacking that you get here? Okay, and then why not direct those same people over there going there into this facility and that bring more revenue into this facility?
Right. Well, again, coming back to the numbers, and you're right, we have to live and die by numbers if we're talking about management. This facility produces consistently more than $400,000 a year. The post office has estimated that there would be a one-time cost saving of about $300,000 plus a year. So the post office, in effect, would be abandoning a stream of revenue by closing this post office and gain a one-time, short-term saving.
Does that make sense? To gain a one-time surplus, or whatever you call it, to cause hardship for a lot of people who cannot afford to go down to the upper Blue Hills, can't afford to get on into Washington Street, cannot afford because they don't have reliable transportation to get this is all within walking distance. What kind of sense is that making? Our politicians in Washington, are they making common sense decisions, or how are they making those decisions?
Well, I hope we're going to be making common sense decisions in Washington. Yeah. Well, we need to bring some common sense to this decision.
That are not doing their job and thinking about us here on Martin Luther King Drive. We need to get rid of them regardless of party affiliation. Get rid of them and follow their records. Know what they're doing and what they're not doing. You have the power and the vote. I don't care if you're a Democratic or you're a Republican. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do for us here on Martin Luther King Drive, you gotta go.
Okay.
The only way that can happen is if you mobilize your community. You gotta tell your neighbors you make a difference. Your voice counts. I don't care.
And we want to see you turn out at the community meetings and make your voices heard. And I'm going to ask the mayor just to maybe give us a message in Spanish so that everybody has a chance to understand.
Para mí es un placer estar aquí con el senador Blumenthal hoy día para oponer la clausura y la propuesta de cerrar esta estación postal, este correo. Este correo es un correo que sirve a una comunidad que en muchas ocasiones visita este correo caminando, y sería una injusticia de que cierren este correo porque está sirviendo una comunidad muy amplia, la comunidad de Blue Hills, la comunidad de Asylum Hill y la comunidad del oeste de la parte de Hartford. Este es un correo que está generando un ingreso en exceso de $400,000 al año, así que sería injusto de cerrar este correo. Así que estamos hoy día oponiendo la clausura de este correo, y el senador Blumenthal y la delegación se va a comunicar con el correo, la oficina de correos, para que se opongan a que cierren esta localidad.
Gracias. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.